Hi, hello everyone. This is Women in Wisdom, our second podcast. And here we are. We all come from Bob Proctor's Thinking into Results program taught by Ewa Pietrzak in Abundant Results. We're all coaches from different parts of the world, but we're specialized in different areas. We cherish what we have and the connection that we feel for each other. We became really close friends. So we want to share with you our valuable knowledge and our expertise on how to navigate through life with joy and ease. Welcome, everyone.
Hi, Felice.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Today is going to be something, it's going to be a sensitive topic, I guess, because we all have to deal with it all our lives long. I want to speak about forgiveness. And when I think of forgiveness, I immediately think about judging, because when something happens to us and it causes pain, or we think it's, we judge, we think it's something bad that someone is doing to us, we attach this feeling to it, right? So Mahatma Gandhi, we all know Mahatma Gandhi, he says that forgiveness is an attribute of strong people, and the weak can never forgive. So when I read that quote many, many years ago, I always felt that it was speaking to me. I wanted to be a strong person, because if you're not able to forgive, how can you be a good person, right? So I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about forgiveness? Is it something that is struggling or complicating your life as a coach, or maybe just in your private life with your friends and with your family? Do we all still have to deal with forgiveness during our daily lives, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, forgiveness is one of those things that people find it quite difficult to do. For example, I know for a fact that it's much easier to forgive others than to forgive ourselves. So that's what research says in psychology. It's much easier to forgive others than to forgive ourselves. I think that's because we treat others better than we treat ourselves. Sometimes we take care of others more than we take care of ourselves. It's something we are not used to. Nobody taught us how to take care of ourselves. Isn't
it, Arlette? We forget to forgive ourselves. We just forget it. It's not like we don't want to forgive ourselves. We just forget to think about ourselves. No.
I would ask if we deserve forgiveness.
Sorry, say again, Camilla.
Do we deserve forgiveness in our own consideration?
True.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about that, Camilla? I'd love to hear you expand on that.
Well, I'm the negotiator, right? And I see that many times we, while negotiating people and me and we and women and people in general, we don't say something because we think we don't deserve to receive what we are asking for. And now Felice is saying, and Arlette is saying that we don't give the forgiveness to ourselves. But the question is, if we think we deserve forgiveness, or we deserve to ask for forgiveness for ourselves. And I think it's not an easy thing to find a space in ourselves for forgiveness to ourselves and ask us for that. And well, beside that, the topic is crazy, Felice. I'm just after the session with my coach, and we were talking about my my past and about what I'm struggling with right now. And there was so much about forgiveness, but not to myself. I see I am able to forgive myself this or that, but I see that I'm missing forgiveness for people from my past, for my parents. But I see also that it's not forgiveness only to my parents for what they did or for what they did not. It's also forgiveness for generations before my parents, for what they were doing, because we all carry this weight and this story and this pain. And sometimes digging into it is such a huge work.
Actually,
but forgiving brings freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Liberating.
And actually, it's very interesting what you're saying, Camilla, because it seems so surreal that it's from our from the generations before us. But actually, when you think about it, we learn it when we are born and we pass it on as a parent. So actually it's almost like a cycle, you know, like a continuous process. And if you know, like the grandparents and the parents and then the children and so on and so on, if you don't learn how to forgive, how can you be forgiven? Right, Arlette? You
Yes.
as you work with children as well. Must be, it's not something that I never learned it when I was a child, to forgive others. No, and especially not forgiving myself, you know. So this is really a topic that was brand new for me. Just you know, when I was an adult, I discovered forgiveness as an adult.
It's interesting what you're saying, Felice, because it brings to my mind the following. For example, when children do a mistake, you know, we tell them, go and say sorry. Go and say sorry doesn't mean forgive. So a lot of the times children are not aware of their behavior and they don't know why they have to say sorry. So we tell them to say sorry. They do it so that they feel accepted or because they have to follow our instruction. But when we don't have the time to explain to the kids that about forgiving and all that, then in adulthood it becomes much more difficult, the concept of forgiveness, and to go through forgiveness, because again, you're right, it's things that are passed from generation to generation, and then we are reinforcing it because of lack of knowledge. That's why I'm not fond of asking children go and say sorry. I'm not fond of that, because what's the point if they don't understand the concept of why they're saying sorry? But yeah, I mean, it's an important thing here to say that it's important to talk about forgiveness, forgiving, and what it really means to children from young age, so that they don't have to go through what we have to go through. It becomes much more easier when they are programmed, when they are conditioned to.
As a mother of 4 young gentlemen, Arlette, thank you so much for what you're saying.
Actually, it's something that I've always thought about, the sorry part, but now Felice stimulated another thinking in me, is the fact that we do not explain what it means to forgive, because forgiving means, what is forgiving? It's for us. You forgive you, it's what Camilla said, you feel free.
That's the point. That's something that is holding us. It's holding us and doesn't allow to go ahead, doesn't allow us to create, doesn't allow us to build the things, build love, build, I don't know what, build the business.
Everything.
Actually, when you look at the definition of forgiveness is a shift in your perception of the feeling that someone is causing inside of you. And this is what we don't realize enough, I think. And this is where our intentions are to create more space for emotions, you know. We're hardly allowed to feel our emotions, you know. We are performing all the time, or we're going to school when as a child or as a student, and later on you go to work and you run your family and blah 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 blah. But there's hardly any time left for ourselves and to connect with our emotions. So, and actually when you forgive, you need to be able to connect with your emotions, because otherwise you can never cause this shift in perception. And you need a shift in perception. You need to understand the emotion that someone is triggering inside of you to be able to forgive, not even the other person, but also yourself. So yeah, it's an emotional subject. It's very, very delicate, very complicated.
If I may jump in.
Yeah, sure.
I connect the topic of forgiveness to responsibility, because for myself, the biggest thing that happened when I went through my own forgiveness journey was taking responsibility 100% for my own results and getting out of that victimhood mindset. And this is something that I am noticing a lot with my clients now, because a lot of my clients are artists, creatives, and for them, public presentation, self-expression, getting visible is very important. But when they cannot forgive their former classmates or teachers who made fun of them because they, showed a weird drawing, or because they were not fluent in their presentation, that resentment stays in them and it blocks them from going live, from having an exhibition, from bringing their work out in the world. Once they are able to forgive that teacher or classmate or father or mother, they take responsibility for their activities, and that is absolutely changing. That changes all the results. It was the same for me.
This is really spot on what you're saying, Arta, because the only way that you can deal with your emotions is to take responsibility over what you're thinking and what you're feeling. The only person that has the power over your thoughts and your feelings is yourself. So taking responsibility for sure is the key to forgive yourself and to forgive people that have hurt you. Yeah,
you're right. Sometimes I feel like my clients, for example, some of my clients, they want to hold on to that anger. They don't want to let go because it becomes part of their big identity. You know, it's part of their identity. They want to hold on to that anger there. And the minute I explain to them that if you want to hold on to that anger, it's what you said, Arta, then you are stepping into the victim mode. So I am the victim, and this happened to me, and that happened to me. And what you said, Felice, there needs to be a shift in perception. So, okay, this and this happened to you, but do you want to feel empowered, or you want to stay in the victim mode? And then when you give them this question, it's like what Camilla was saying, that I think it was Camilla in one of those sessions, that women need permission. Well, I don't know if it was you, Camilla, as if they need permission to change their mindset and to say that no, you have
I think we live in a world where we all, and almost, I would also include men, almost, we all as a human being need permission to connect with our feelings. No?
How do we get that permission? From where do we get that permission when nobody's giving it to you?
You don't have to get permission from anyone. You are entitled to this because you are who you are. You are everything you want to be, and we create our own reality. No one else has this power.
The point is that you need to find courage inside yourself
Yeah.
to do it by
True.
yourself with your own permission and without asking anyone else if you can do that or not. It needs the courage,
True.
your
It's
own
courage.
power inside
Fear.
yourself.
Fear is one of the biggest causes why people cannot forgive, because if you want to break through the fear barrier, you have to be brave and connect with your own emotions. And you will have to deal with emotions. Suppressing emotions is not a solution. So you will have to wonder who's triggering this feeling inside of you, or what's triggering the feeling, and what is it that I'm feeling. You know, people have to be courageous to understand their feelings and to manage their feelings. You know, this is the permission, Camilla, also, but you have to, I don't think maybe I think courage is a really good word to describe it. You have to be courageous. To connect with your own feelings, and don't fear feeling. You have to say, oh, okay, I'm feeling anger. Where is it coming from? Or I'm feeling so sad and I have a lot of tears inside my heart. What has caused this feeling inside of me? And do I agree? How much time do I need to grieve or to process the feeling of anger or resentment, whatever it is? But you have to understand it, because it's like Bob Proctor, our beautiful mentor, always says, it's through understanding and awareness that we become amazingly powerful.
I just want to say that I'm a lot of the things that I experience with my clients, I'm always working with people's bodies and bringing their awareness back to the body. People don't even know. They don't know that they're carrying guilt. They don't know that they're carrying resentment, blame, judgment, all of these things. And the way that we discover and uncover that is by noticing how our body feels. And that the signal could just be pain. It could just be a difficult relationship. And when we start to go into those things and we bring it back to the body and we start to unpack what's there, and then the emotional story that we've been carrying, then we get to the root of the emotion that's been, embedded in our field, in our energetic self for not only our lifetime, like you said, Felice, but ancestral lifetimes as well, because we carry that energetic imprint in this life. And so I've been actually working with forgiveness for 25 years. It's been a very powerful journey for me. I learned early on that forgiving is actually forgiving love. When I hear the word forgive, I don't have the same concept as when I think about it and explore it for myself. It's forgiving. Well, what are we giving? We're giving love to ourselves and to others. And it comes into almost all of my sessions with my clients because it's a powerful, powerful vibration that acts like a spiritual detoxifier, a spiritual cleanser. It just washes away the energetic blocks, yes, that we hold on to. And we are the ones that are holding on to that. And it just opens that up and releases that. And then we are restored in so many deep ways with deep vitality. That flow of our life source, of our life force, is moving through us again. Oh,
so Bree, actually, what you're saying now is that we, as a human, the moment we understand how we function as an energetic being, we can lift our blocks and see how powerful love and light is, right?
Absolutely. I mean, everything as we know, is vibration. And so, as Arta was saying, when we take responsibility for the way we feel, we're taking responsibility for the vibrational state that we carry. And that's the state that's creating our experience. And forgiveness is just this beautiful cleansing wave of energy that washes through us when we invite it in. It comes in on its own, and it can, and there's ways that we can invite it in. We have a lot of tools and techniques to do that. We learned here, writing forgiveness letters. I also love the practice of Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian healing practice. And if you're familiar with Dr. Hugh Len and his story, which is phenomenal, he just recently passed away. That's a very simple practice because you were talking earlier about how children don't know. Well, parents don't know. So how can parents pass on the wisdom and beauty of forgiveness when they themselves don't really know what that is? So what I love about simple practices is that you have an experience of what that is for yourself, and it's transmitted by your practice of it, not by what someone tells you.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Let me.
What do you
Yes,
yeah.
amazing to that. Me, I'm talking now.
Yeah, Camilla,
you can speak.
I want to add something. I started to practice Ho'oponopono thanks to one of Bob Proctor's students, and I heard it from her. And I started to practice that, and that was the moment when I've met a person that is practicing the family settings by Hellinger. And she told me, yes, what you say is clear and beautiful and very important, but there is one more thing. Hellinger was saying that if you forgive someone, you put yourself on the superior to the person you forgive to. And well, I'm not sure if I agree with that, but I think I want to pay attention to this opinion, to this voice, that if you forgive someone, you feel yourself superior. And what you can do, according to Hellinger, is to say, I respect your choices. I respect your life. I respect your way. And I have my permission for that.
Well, the practice of Ho'oponopono for me is not saying it to somebody else. I say it to myself. I'm just saying it to myself. I'm never saying it to somebody else. I'm experiencing something and I say, I'm so sorry. It's like I'm parenting myself. I'm talking to myself. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I wasn't there for you when you needed me. I'm so sorry that you're going through this right now, and that I wasn't there when you needed me. I love you.
This is so beautiful. Thank you, Bree. This is really powerful.
Yeah. When I do the forgiveness practice of Ho'oponopono, it's always self-directed. And where I am in my life right now, I'm aware that everyone is a reflection of me. And so in the forgiveness of myself, I am also changing the reflection and projection of my world. So I like to just bring it back into myself, feel it in my body, and work with it from that level and release it energetically.
I think that's a beautiful way to conclude our topic of today, more or less, on forgiveness. Yeah, we this is such a true reality today, that the world we are living in, society we are living in, they almost see like forgiving is to, it's they don't want to, they hold on to a certain bad emotion because they cannot accept the behavior of that other person. But what they don't realize exactly, Brie, is that it's not about the other person, because everything around you is a reflection of lessons and of perspectives and over judgments that you have to learn, not the other person. If everyone would start in the mirror, like Michael Jackson says, if everyone starts in the mirror with a man in the mirror, the world would be such an easier place with a lot of more joy and peace. Yeah, absolutely. So if there's anyone who wants to say anything else about forgiveness, or are we gonna wrap it up for today?
I just want to say one thing, maybe it will help the audience, whoever is going through forgiveness. And I don't know, this was my experience, and you can tell me also from your experience, but usually my clients that are going through forgiveness, they say that I've tried this and I've tried that and it's not working. I still have the resentment, I still carry the anger. So I don't know how you handle these sorts of questions, but what I tell them is that it's not something that is going to happen overnight. It's a process. You just need to decide this is what you want and commit to it. And each time that those negative emotions or the triggers come, it's an invitation for you to look into it and to release the emotion. It's not like there is a magic wand when you write your forgiveness letters or whatever you do, you know, in a day you're going to start feeling better. But I think that it is empowering each time that you handle it in a way that you deal with the emotions that are coming, isn't it? It's a process. It's not like it's going to happen in a day. But
No.
it is going to happen. You need to be patient.
True.
Yeah.
Also, it's another lesson from Unsinkable video, the movie. The lady passed through horrible moments of her family. And she was a kid when her father killed her mother and then himself. And she says she was forgiving and is forgiving him every single day or every time she feels worse. And it's a sustaining process. Probably it would never end. But every time she needs it, she needs to go first to forgiveness.
It's that rewiring of the brain. The more you do it.
Repetition.
And I looked at myself. My father died when I was 6. And well, he was not with me when I was getting married. And he was not with me when I was having my first baby and then another ones. And well, I feel I forgave him, but I think that I also need to do that every time that something important is happening in my life. And thank him.
Sustained. It's something that
I want to end this podcast by saying that humans are very auto-destructive. And I want to ask anyone who's listening to this podcast, and all of you, my dear friends, I want to ask you to be very mild to yourself and to love yourself and everyone around you, because then it will come back to you 100-fold times, you know. So we are blessed and we are beautiful human beings. We just have to connect with who we truly are deep down in our heart space. So this is my message to the world. Be kind, love yourself, and forgive yourself in the first place, because you're not meant to be a very demanding, hard person. You're meant to love and to let your light shine on anyone else that can see it. So this was the podcast of today. I wish you all a very beautiful day. Bye, my dear friends. I love you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.